Hello friends, hope you are well. Techman Pat here. Today we are reviewing the AORUS 5 from Gigabyte. It is a gaming laptop and I wanted you to hear some of the fans that are blowing right now. They are a little bit loud, but that doesn't take away from what this laptop can actually do. Welcome, and please like and subscribe if you did enjoy this video, and if you'd like to see more, make sure to subscribe. Let's get started with the review by rolling the intro. Alright, let's talk specs. It has a Core i7 Intel CPU, 10th generation, not too bad at all, and it has a 1660 Ti and RTX GeForce NVIDIA card, which is great for a laptop this size. And what's good about the pairing of these is the battery life, absolutely fantastic. Even when gaming, it doesn't use that much juice, but also the performance is a little bit stunted. We'll talk about that in a moment. It also has a 512 gig SSD, which is fine. I think it is an M.2 drive, and it has some expansion slots too. What's special about this laptop? Well, it has a 144Hz IPS panel, brilliant colors, great performance, very little ghosting, and you know what? I really didn't notice any glare on it. Like, it's matted and it's not shiny. It really helps. What's really cool about this laptop from Gigabyte is that it came with virtually no bloatware. It was a clean Windows 10 setup. It didn't have some random crap that Windows always puts on there. I was actually really impressed. And at $2,000, it's actually a pretty good laptop for the price because of the specs inside. But there is something else that makes it a little bit more special than any other laptop. First of all, it's actually really lightweight. That's quite important, especially if you want to go mobile gaming, which means you can game competitively on this laptop and the performance is okay. You have to turn down some of the settings. I was playing a lot of Cold War on here and I had to turn it down significantly, but the 144Hz refresh rate made it a smooth gameplay. Now, because it is lightweight, it's very plasticky, and I want to say that the build quality is not something I'm used to with other laptops. It actually feels really cheap, and at some point, if you grab it a certain way, the plastic creaks and clicks. Have a listen to this. Now, apart from the build quality, everything else seems to be okay. It's actually got a fairly solid keyboard, but you can still press into it, which I don't particularly like, but it won't affect you because you don't usually go around pressing into the keyboard unless you've got heavy hands. I would like to say that the touchpad is fantastic. The keyboard typing experience, as I always say, I like to do the review, the type up on the laptop, on the keyboard that I'm reviewing, and I have to say, I really liked it, except one really bad thing about it. The shift button is connected right next to the arrow keys, and for some reason I just could not get over that, and I kept pressing up arrow instead of shift, and it kept messing me up. I really don't like the way they've crammed it in. If you have to cram it so much, make it smaller. The shift key is right below the enter key, but then it has an arrow key. It's annoying, it's frustrating. The number keys is a welcome addition. I do like a keyboard with a full setup, but if I was to choose between having the shift in the right place and right size or the keypad, I would choose the shift side. Not many people use the keypad, and the only time I used it when I was putting the PIN code to unlock this computer. And while it has a webcam, it has no Hello Windows, but the webcam is okay. Have a listen to this.
So let's test the camera and the microphone and see if it picks up the actual fans that are going on right now as soon as I boot up OBS. It's obviously taking a little bit of CPU power, about 1.7% at 60 frames, but the fans are certainly kicking in. My voice should sound okay. It will be fine for a video call. Now I'm giving it the best case scenario with the studio light that's right here, and this is what happens when you've just got the normal light. It's okay. It's not going to be the best, but it'll do in a pinch.
Now in regards to benchmarks, there's no point showing you game benchmarks because, to be honest, people want to play with high refresh rate monitors with high frame rates, so you're going to have to lower a lot of the settings, so it's kind of unfair to sort of manage those settings. And I think at the end of the day, I could reach 100 frames on Cold War, which is very unoptimized at the moment on PC, and Modern Warfare, the one before this, was 120 with much lower settings, but at 1080p, it looked absolutely fine because of the size of the screen. The CPU and GPU performance is fine. What I would like to add is the fan performance is actually pretty good. It does get a little bit loud. It does have 2 exhausts on the sides and 2 fans right in the center, one for the CPU and one for the GPU. It cools it really, really well. I'm impressed with that. It does have pretty thick feet at the bottom, so it will be able to suck it in, but I wouldn't be using it in bed or anything like that where you cover the exhaust ports or actually cover the intake ports, because that would be very bad for the laptop. It has Wi-Fi 6, which is great to see more and more laptops actually having this feature, and I think it'll be pretty ubiquitous in the future, but at the end of the day, you can't really use Wi-Fi 6 unless you have a Wi-Fi 6 router, so it shouldn't be a selling point just yet. I think you can wait a little bit, but it is there, and you know it's a little bit future-proofed. Most laptops, in my opinion, last 3 to 4 to 5 years, depending on how much you spend. Some go for a lot longer, depending on build quality. In this case, because it's so plasticky, I feel like if you move it around, the plastic will start to crack, and I feel like the build quality on the top is fine, but the bottom seems a little bit too flimsy. It also features something called 3D Sound for Gamers by NACMIC. Honestly, I don't know what it's supposed to be doing. The sound from this laptop is tinny, pretty crappy, and doesn't sound very good at all. Try to play some music? A phone sounds better. Game noises? Terrible. They're advertising this NACMIC thing on here and saying it's some sort of 3D audio for gamers. They're thinking gamers are a joke in regards to audio. So in that case, don't use the audio that's built in. Make sure you have some headphones, and it does have a couple of ports. So let's talk about that. On the left hand side, it has a USB, a video out, we'll talk about that in a moment, and it has a SD card reader, and on the other side it has another USB. This one is the fast one, USB 3, a standard USB and audio jack and microphone in. It is not a combo, it is separate. It also has a Kensington lock on the side, and on the back we have HDMI out, USB-C out, and obviously Ethernet and the power cable. I do like the fact that the power cable is at the back. It does mean there's nothing on the sides here, and I will give them that. Absolutely fantastic design choice. I think more laptops should do that, but I also understand some laptops just can't because of the way they're designed. Now, so far it's been a little bit negative. I'm sure you can agree. There's a lot of weird things about this laptop, but it costs $2,000, so is it actually worthwhile? What makes this special? Well, in my opinion, the performance is good enough to run this 144Hz IPS panel. It looks absolutely gorgeous, and the actual build quality, while it's plasticky, it holds up really well. The touchpad is good, the keyboard is good, you get another mouse, and you've got a gaming laptop that can perform really, really well, especially with the insides. The hard drive at 512 is a little bit small, but it's got expansion possibilities.
But what makes this laptop actually special? Well, it's the ability to run 3 more external monitors on top of the built-in panel.
And that is actually mind-blowing, because I find a lot of laptops can only do one HDMI out, and that's it. And you have to get another expensive adapter to make it 3, and it's not that great, doesn't perform well, because this third one is kind of like via USB, and it's weird, it just doesn't work very well. Now, for the first time ever, the reason I would suggest to actually get this laptop is if you need to run more than 2 monitors, either the panel plus the monitor. If you need a third panel for productivity, it has actually a reason to get this laptop. The performance of the 1660 Ti will actually allow you to do so. Probably not like all 3 at once, you're not going to get infinity screen, but if you get small enough ones, you could actually probably do it. The thing is, the person who this is for is not necessarily a mobile gamer. It's actually somebody who's probably doing a little bit of productivity work and needs the extra real estate. Now, what I hope that Gigabyte does in the future with this AORUS lineup is make the build quality better, and then I would have nothing bad to say about this laptop. My suggestion, if you are a student and you're looking for a laptop that you can hook up to multiple screens because you've got some work to do or some studying to do with multiple screens, you want to read some here, you want to type it up here, maybe play some music on the side or a video, this is actually the laptop for you. But if you want something that looks the part and performs and does all that, this is probably not the one for you. In regards to the design, it's very dated. Feels like a laptop from 2015 with specs from the last year or so. And that's kind of surprising, but nonetheless, I think everything else inside it makes up for the design on the outside. The panel, the keyboard, the touchpad, the GPU and CPU as a package are really, really good inside a case that might not be for everyone. Now, unlike Call of Duty Cold War, where I had to lower every setting to low and medium to get at least 100 frames, the actual GPU ran up to 86 degrees. This is where this laptop shines. Games like Dota, where you can have high refresh rates, but you can also play a really soft and easy game in regards to the graphics, and you don't have to overclock it or do anything else, and it won't get too hot. But I would like to also add that even though the Dota is not that expensive on the system, the fans still do ramp up, and just as your mouse is here, your hand will get quite warm as it exhausts the fan to your side. Now, what's it like to play video games on? Well, first of all, it's absolutely fantastic. Like, I have to admit, forget about the build quality. The panel, the performance is enough for you to actually enjoy playing games on it. The WSD keys felt really comfortable, and overall the height didn't really bother me because the keyboard is now in that sort of top place, unlike a lot of new laptops these days where they move the keyboard down. Connecting up a mouse is a must if you want to play some shooters, and of course, the high refresh rate screen makes gaming really, really nice and fluid. And the fact that we are seeing these as a standard thing in most gaming laptops is an absolute plus. Now, of course, the keyboard has RGB, and one thing I want to mention about the keys themselves is while they light up, and they light up really nicely in the evenings, the actual keys are embedded with the icon they have, which means you can't just rub them off, which is really good, which means it'll hopefully last a lot longer when you game with sweaty palms. So would I recommend this laptop? Well, first of all, at the price range where it varies from nearly $2,000 to $2,500, it's hard to justify it because there are other laptops that are comparable with a lot of features that make it a little bit better for a gaming laptop. So overall, this laptop is a little bit on the expensive side for what you get, but the internals and the panel perform so well that I think it's actually probably a good buy if you see it at a much lower price. At $1,600 to $1,800 to $1,900, I think I could certainly recommend it. We in Australia get shafted on price a lot, and I think this laptop is in an unfortunate position where I think it should just be a little bit cheaper and would sell really, really well because of the features that it has and the performance. I think it's certainly worthwhile to look at, but at a much lower price. So big thanks to Gigabyte for sending me this laptop for review and sending me this shirt across. Of course I was gonna wear it. It matches and it's a really nice shirt. But please don't take that in regard to what I think about this laptop. I think that there's something good in it. It's got potential, but the build quality and the price isn't quite right. And the only reason to look at it is those 3 extra monitors or panels that you can get. Friends, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this review. Make sure you let me know what you guys think below in the comments. And if you'd like to see more, make sure to subscribe. And if you like this video, then tap that like button. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you all in another one. Bye!